YouTube and welcome back to my channel. This was not the video that I was supposed to upload today. I was supposed to talk about tutt'altro, something completely different. But since I didn't have time to film that video because I had to give my attention to this very silly situation that occurred on Instagram, I decided to make that silly situation into my content. I'm going to talk about and show you guys what the term Karen means in real life. I'm going to give you guys a real life example of what a Karen is, how a Karen behaves, and why this is relevant. Yesterday, I got into a situation because I had the audacity to get into a conversation, engage in a conversation with an American English teacher who wanted to teach English in a way that is dishonest, in a way that is incomplete. And I was very upset about the whole situation, as you guys will see in the next clips. But so many of my followers wrote me saying that those stories opened their eyes to something. Those stories drew their attention to something that they didn't realize was there before. Those stories changed their way of thinking. And so, given the feedback of my followers, I decided as well that some content like this would be useful on YouTube, where it can essentially be immortalized. I'm not going to reveal in this YouTube video the identity of this English teacher because it's not relevant to the overall lessons that can be learned. And I also will not be giving her any more of my attention. In the rest of this video, we can refer to this English teacher as Karen. Her name will be Karen. So with no further ado, here's the content. All right, you guys want to see an angry black woman? Here she is, because I am tired. Or as you would say in Italian, sono piena. It's crazy because these things always go the same exact way. It's like clockwork. It's like a book. You know exactly how it's going to end. And, you know, the usual ending, the angry, aggressive black woman that is bullying the innocent, crying white woman, the docile, sweet white woman. Nah, y'all, nah. This time I have to point this out because no, the patience, it's zero. As I already said, today I was tagged in this post that was an English teacher, an American native English-speaking English teacher with 80,000 followers, explaining to her followers what the meaning of Karen was. And I was tagged by some of her followers, who I guess are also some of my followers, that were pointing out the fact that she left out the part that, you know, Karen tends to be a white woman. And they tagged me to explain this. And given that, you know, I really didn't think it was that aggressive of a conversation, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, that was the only reason that I responded. If I thought it was going to turn into this big thing, I would have not said anything. I would have kept my mouth closed because I already told y'all I'm done with this. I did not feel like she was getting attacked because there were literally two Italian women that were asking her, confirming with her, but isn't the caricature behind Karen a white woman? Why are you leaving that out? They were asking her, like, simply. And so I commented and I said, yes, the caricature behind the Karen is a white woman, and I completely understand not wanting to talk about racial topics on your Instagram, but if that is the case, then we shouldn't talk about slang with, you know, race-based definitions. And literally, word for word, that is what I said. I'm sorry that I didn't take a screenshot to prove this. Like I said, I didn't think the conversation was aggressive. I didn't think that it was that big of a deal. So I didn't take a screenshot, and I was immediately blocked. My comment was deleted, and I was blocked in less than 2 seconds. And so, yeah, I'll admit that I got pretty angry because, honestly speaking, this woman is paid to teach Italian English. That's apparently her occupation. And she's not doing it completely because English is a modern language. English is an exact reflection to what is happening in society. We have new words every day based on what is happening to us in the world. And so you can't leave out the cultural aspect of English. You cannot. And I'm sorry, but it's your job, not mine. And despite the fact that it's your job, I'm the one that has to explain to Italians why they can't go up to black people and call them I'm the one that has to explain to Italians why, you know, blackface is kind of shitty. I'm the one that has to explain to Italians the parallelisms between one of the most racist countries on earth, which is America, to their own country, so that they can understand that racism isn't this abstract American thing, but it's actually here too. And she had a choice. She had a choice. There were 3 people trying to open a dialogue with her. And all she had to do was, I don't know, confirm something on Google and then come back to us and say, oh, well, maybe I got it wrong. Or, oh, well, I see it this way. But instead of choosing to do that, she chose to censor us and block us, silence us so that her narrative could be the narrative. But I mean, I guess unfortunately for you, I have a platform as well. And just like you're going to tell your 80,000 Italian followers that it's this way, I'm going to tell my 80,000 Italian followers, in realtà c'è anche quello. It is so frustrating to me that people are literally dying every single day. And there are still people with platforms as well that choose to be part of the problem, which is general ignorance, which is pretending there is no problem, which is denying the problem, rather than being part of the solution. That is just freaking unfortunate and why the world sucks. It's funny how she posted some screenshots, but she didn't post all of them. Now I have screenshots as well because I learned from your immediate blocking and your immediate canceling that I should take screenshots of the things that you're saying. Why didn't you post this screenshot of you being a Karen? Those are the messages that she sent to me after, I guess, some of my followers who saw the stories went and told her that they were there. That's usually how these things work. She sent that to me. First of all, I don't know if she thought that I didn't see the other girls' comments, but they weren't talking about the fact that being spoiled and privileged is exclusive to white women. They were talking about the fact that Karen, the term that she is explaining, is based on a white caricature. That is a white American caricature. That's what they were saying. And I mean, it's the truth. If you want to debate whether it's racist or not, if you want to debate whether it's a slur or not, okay, that's another conversation. But part of the definition, part of what it is and what your students were asking you to know is it true that it's based on a white caricature? And when people tried to approach you for a calm conversation about that, you blocked them. How are you going to tell me that you would have wished that I would have, first of all, not attacked you? Because I don't think that stating that it's a white caricature and that, you know, it's all cool and fun and games to not talk about racism, but you brought up something about race. How is that an attack? I didn't attack you at all, neither did the other 2 girls, and there was no way to have a conversation with you or talk to you about it because you blocked me in 1 second. Now, when I first read the message, I didn't immediately respond because I wanted to think about my response, and I was actually busy, and I'm not in the business of dropping everything that I'm doing to talk to someone that now realizes that they want to talk after they blocked me. Sorry, but that's not how it works. When I did decide to respond, when I was available to respond, this was my response. And it was a thoughtful response that took time to write, that I don't even know was worth it. And I wrote that response after I saw that she had apparently put up some apology video that honestly, you guys, we're both native English speakers. We're both Americans, but I don't know what she said in that video. I don't understand what she said from that video. I don't understand anything from that video. The only thing that I understand is at the end of it, she started crying, and now I have people in my inbox talking about how I was too harsh. What? A word of advice to white women, and specifically white women who, as she said in the video, don't want to be part of the problem, white women that claim they want to be allies to minorities. If you're talking about something and a minority tries to explain to you that, hey, it's kind of problematic, like because of this, and this, if your first response is to be defensive and aggressive, and I think that being defensive and aggressive is blocking people and trying to silence them, if that's your first response, and analyze yourself. Analyze it, because I don't understand why you feel so attacked, honestly. For example, I'm not in the LGBT community. There have been times where I've said things that weren't 100% correct, and I've had LGBT people call me out, and I didn't fight with them. I said, oh, okay, and then I never said the thing again, or I decided to go do further research into what they were telling me about. I tried to better myself. I am self-aware to know that I grew up in a society with a system and institutions that are homophobic. I grew up where the norm was not LGBT. It's straight, like me. It's cisgendered and straight. And therefore, everything that I was taught from that lens. And I know that since I grew up in that system, I have to unlearn so much. I'm trying my best. I do my best, but I have to unlearn. And therefore, I might slip up sometime. And if an LGBT person tells me that I slipped up, I'm going to check myself. I don't understand why white people can't recognize that, knock, knock, thanks to colonialism, white supremacy is also global. We all grew up in white supremacist societies where white is the default and everything else is not. I, as a black person, had to learn how to not hate myself. I had to learn how to not hate myself because I grew up in a system with institutions that told me that I was wrong and I was less than. And so, I'm sorry, but you as a white person, you also have to do it. Your womanhood, being a white woman, doesn't erase your whiteness. Being a woman doesn't erase your whiteness. And so if a non-white person is saying, hey, trying to draw your attention to something you said because they want to help you, because look, I personally have stopped having conversations with people. I'm done helping people. So if somebody is nice enough to want to help you, take advantage of that. Look it up. Take it for constructive criticism. Don't be offended. Don't be defensive because you're not helping anyone. That kind of stuff, that kind of behavior makes you part of the problem. And the second and last piece of free advice that I'm going to give to white people that want to be allies, specifically white women, don't cry. Because while this behavior might evoke sympathy from most people, maybe, for me as a black woman, given what I've been through, what I grew up with, the only feeling that your tears inspire in me is rage. A rage that I cannot even describe because it's unfair. I don't get to cry. Racism isn't just a thing that happens to me. Racism, as I already said, is a constant state of being. I don't get to not talk about racism. I don't get to look away from racism. Even when I want to focus on anything else but racism, it's in my face every single freaking day, and I don't get to cry about it. So why are you crying just because I dared to bring racism to your attention? Why are you crying because I dared to put your privilege in front of you? Stop crying. You are not a victim. In the situation where somebody from a marginalized group decides to try and waste their time, because it is always a waste of time, my friends, waste their time to try to educate you, you are not a victim. Stop crying. Stop. Anything that's happening right now is a result of your own actions. Why are you crying? So yeah, I think that I've addressed everything. I think that I have said my piece, and that's it. I think that this whole situation could have been avoided. I think this whole situation was a waste of my time. So yeah, thanks so much for nothing. So yeah, that's it. Still pretty raw, still pretty fresh because it all happened yesterday. But I guess it wasn't a waste of time because, as I said, if so many of my followers could take something away from it on Instagram, and if I can reach a wider audience here on YouTube, if I can change somebody's perspective, give them another perspective to have in their toolbox, then it wasn't a waste of time and it was great. So I hope that this content was useful to you, that it did something for you. I hope this video, you found it in some way useful, ecco. And I'll see you guys in my next one with my regularly scheduled videos.